There is surely no more mysterious and enigmatic country on the planet than the one we are about to reveal to you. It is the smallest sovereign entity in the world, a country with the least land area, which also occupies a special place among the most unusual and hermetic corners of the earth. This country is a true secret enclave, a closed and inaccessible territory where astonishing and little-known realities are hidden, accessible only to a select few lucky individuals. In this new story, we will delve into the mysterious life of the Vatican, the center of the Catholic Church, a country with a rich past filled with myths and secrets, as well as a mysterious present. Within its walls are numerous secrets that most of us do not even suspect. Among them are tangled stories about secret archives, alleged time machines, hidden corridors used by popes to escape in times of danger, and rumors of connections with the mafia and various secret societies such as the Illuminati. But perhaps the most astonishing thing is that the Vatican has a school of exorcists, and beneath the majestic basilica lie dark underground tunnels leading to a tomb with the remains of Saint Peter the Apostle. The Vatican is not only a religious center, but also one of the wealthiest countries on earth. It has its own bank, hospital, pharmacy, and even its own army. The Vatican Guard wears a unique striped uniform designed based on sketches by Michelangelo over 500 years ago. It is also interesting that there is a legend in this country about a woman who managed to infiltrate inside and become the Pope, which led to the appearance of the figure of the papal testicles, a person tasked with manually inspecting future popes to prevent such cases. This story partly explains why the Vatican ranks first in the world for the smallest female population, and why it is the center of the Christian religion, where the Pope, the spiritual leader, does not receive a salary and pays no taxes. He has no personal property or mobile phone, but he does possess a secret library and the power to forgive or excommunicate anyone, removing all sins from them. The Pope is elected through a process shrouded in mystery and secrecy, called the conclave, a closed and sealed group of cardinals. This tradition is one of the most enigmatic and dark in church history, and we will soon tell you more about it. Pay close attention and do not miss this video, because the revelation of the Vatican is sure to surprise you. Let's begin. For many people, the Vatican is not just a state, but a true spiritual center of the world, a place that the Holy Mother Church has chosen to determine the fate of all humanity. Here stands one of the most magnificent cathedrals on the planet, St. Peter's Basilica, a symbol of faith in the power of the Church. Part 2 of 14. This choice was not made by chance. It is precisely on this land, deep within its underground tunnels and catacombs, that the remains of the Apostle St. Peter were discovered, which only enhances the sacred significance of this place. Italian archaeologist Margherita Guarducci, a specialist in Greek epigraphy, conducted numerous studies, examining ancient inscriptions and traditions related to the Apostle's tomb. As a result of her meticulous work, it was found that beneath the main altar of St. Peter's Basilica, approximately 3 meters below the surface, there is an ancient burial structure which, in her opinion, is the Apostle's final resting place. This discovery became a key to understanding the mystery hidden inside this sacred building and confirmed that the body of one of the most important and revered apostles lies here. Inside the ancient walls of the Vatican, in its mysterious and secret corners, various archaeological remains and graffiti were uncovered, among which stand out images known as Peter's graffiti. These inscriptions include the phrase Petros Eni, interpreted as Peter is here, and are associated with the biblical apostle Peter, to whom the promise was made, "You are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church." It was on this basis that the magnificent Basilica of St. Peter was erected, and ultimately the Vatican arose, the smallest sovereign state in the world, but simultaneously one of the wealthiest and most influential centers of the Catholic faith worldwide. This small city-state, covering an area of just under 44 hectares, roughly the size of 80 football fields, possesses such power and significance that its name is known to everyone in the world. Despite its compact size, the Vatican is renowned for its high population density and unique community. Its residents are mainly clergy, priests, monks, cardinals, and papal officials who hold spiritual authority. Within its borders also live staff, workers, their families, and a very small group of women who are a minority in this state dominated by male clergy. According to the latest estimates, the population of the Vatican is about 882 people, of whom approximately 636 reside permanently on its territory. Interestingly, among this population, women number fewer than 20, making the Vatican one of the countries with the fewest women on the planet. The majority of residents are religious officials, employees, and the Swiss Guards, the elite protectors of the Pope. It is the Swiss Guard that is responsible for the security of the head of the Catholic Church and the entire Vatican state, and its history dates back to the Middle Ages. The most recognizable symbol of this guard is its bright, striped uniform, which has remained virtually unchanged since its inception. Part 3 of 14. This distinctive attire was designed in the early 16th century by one of the greatest artists of the Renaissance era, Michelangelo. In creating this costume, he did not merely craft clothing, but also forged a symbol of tradition, loyalty, and protection that Swiss Guards carry at all times. The name Swiss Guard derives from Swiss mercenaries, renowned during the Renaissance for their military valor and fidelity. In the 16th century, in the year 2006, Pope Julius II requested Swiss soldiers to form his personal security detail, thus establishing this elite military unit. Initially, the Pope had various military formations guarding him, but the reputation and combat skills of the Swiss mercenaries made them the preferred choice, and over time, they became the official protectors of the Holy See. Interestingly, their uniform design was entirely developed by Michelangelo, and to this day, these costumes remain a symbol of loyalty, protection, and tradition. Every morning, when guards in their bright, striped uniforms patrol the Vatican squares, they serve as a reminder of the rich history and centuries-old customs of this unique state. These soldiers not only perform their duties of guarding the Pope and his residence, but also stand as living witnesses to the Renaissance era, when art, faith, and martial valor intertwined into a single whole. Thus, despite its modest size, the Vatican preserves an inexhaustible heritage and a rich history that attract millions of tourists and pilgrims from around the world. The discovery of ancient graffiti and inscriptions related to the Apostle Peter offers a glimpse into the depths of its centuries-old history. For those eager to delve deeper, one of the most vivid and memorable episodes in their history occurred in the distant 16th century, when the city of Rome was under threat of plunder. During this difficult moment, the heroic Swiss Guard, faithful protectors of the Pope, displayed exceptional bravery and self-sacrifice, steadfastly resisting the troops of Emperor Charles XV, who sought to loot and destroy the Holy City. Thanks to their courage and decisiveness, Pope Clement XVI was able to escape in time through a mysterious passage known as Passetto di Borgo, which became one of the most famous and largely enigmatic events in the history of the Vatican and Rome. This passage is one of the most recognizable and simultaneously mysterious parts of the city. It is often called a symbol of hidden secrets and secret routes connecting different parts of the ancient papal capital. The Passetto di Borgo is not just an ordinary corridor, but a raised, slightly elevated gallery stretching between the imposing Castel San Angelo and the papal residence located in the Vatican. This narrow, mysterious corridor was conceived and built many centuries ago as a strategic route designed for the quick and safe evacuation of the Pope in case of danger. His construction and placement reflect serious strategic considerations. In times of threat or attack, the Pope could quickly retreat to the fortified stronghold, bypassing the city streets, which were confusing and vulnerable at such moments. Today, this corridor, although rarely open for viewing, remains one of the most mysterious monuments of Roman history. Some of its sections can still be seen from certain points in the city, although access is strictly limited, and only a few select individuals are allowed to walk through it and experience the atmosphere of past centuries. This secret corridor, connecting the Castel San Angelo with the Vatican, served not only as a quick escape route for the Pope, but also as part of a broader system of connections within the papal palace. It linked to various papal chambers, adding to its aura of seclusion and secrecy. For centuries, it remained hidden and inaccessible to outsiders, surrounded by numerous legends and rumors born from its mysterious history. This corridor symbolizes a unique combination of military necessity, architectural mastery, and political intrigue, as it was part of a system of protection and secret communication within the heart of the Papal States. Few know that the Pope's authority at that time extended far beyond spiritual leadership. Historically, papal power spread over vast territories known as the Papal States, which occupied a significant part of the Italian peninsula. These lands included regions such as Lazio, Umbria, and parts of Emilia-Romagna. Under the control of the Pope Sane, these territories were subject to his political and military authority, and to defend his interests, the popes established their own army, the so-called Papal Armed Forces. They included special units, among which the Noble Guard and the Palatine Guard stood out, elite security formations that not only ensured the Pope's safety, but also participated in numerous alliances, conflicts, and military operations, thereby strengthening the political status of the Church and expanding its influence in the region. These armed forces were not limited to defense. They actively engaged in political intrigues, military clashes, and diplomatic maneuvers, making the papacy a powerful force in European political life. Over the centuries, popes acted as absolute monarchs in their territories, engaging in complex strategic games, forming alliances, and waging wars. Their authority encompassed not only spiritual matters but also real political and territorial issues, making them figures who were both religious and secular leaders, capable of influencing events across large parts of the continent. Over time, however, the situation began to change. During the 10th century, as nation-states in Europe grew stronger, the idea that salvation could be bought with money attracted many people and sparked lively debates. Subsequently, this very concept became one of the key factors that undermined the authority of the Church and served as a catalyst for the beginning of the Protestant Reformation. Many perceived such practices as an insult to spiritual values and moral principles, which caused strong outrage and discontent among the faithful. For many years, the idea of being able to buy salvation became a subject of fierce debate and criticism, as it contradicted fundamental spiritual commandments and teachings. One of the most dark and controversial periods in the history of the papacy is considered to be the era of Pope Alexander VI. Born as Rodrigo Borgia, he was born in the town of Chiva, located in Valencia, Spain. His family belonged to noble circles, and his origins were associated with nobility and high social status. However, despite his aristocratic background, Rodrigo was distinguished by an extraordinary passion for power and a desire to strengthen his own position, which often exceeded his status and capabilities. Throughout his life, future Pope Alexander VI demonstrated exceptional political astuteness, which helped him quickly rise through the church hierarchy and occupy the most important positions. His papacy, which he assumed in 1492, was marked by constant intrigue, political manipulation, and blatant corruption. During this time, the papacy became a tool not only of spiritual authority, but also of political games, with the personal ambitions of its leader becoming increasingly evident. A particularly notable aspect of Alexander VI's papacy is the fact that he had several children. At that time, despite the official vow of celibacy among clergy, high-ranking church officials often engaged in extramarital affairs and fathered children. However, for a pope, whose position is considered the pinnacle of spiritual authority, having offspring was especially scandalous. In modern society, this would provoke fierce condemnation, but in that era, such facts often remained hidden or were perceived as normal among the wealthy and influential circles. Additionally, Pope Alexander VI demonstrated clear nepotism, favoring his relatives by appointing them to important church and state positions. He sought to strengthen his power by expanding his family's influence within church structures and on the political stage. As a result of his reign, the Papal States significantly expanded their territories, capturing and consolidating control over a large part of modern Italy, especially around Rome and its surroundings, including the Saba River region. Let us turn to the origin of the name Vatican. This term derives from the ancient Mons Vaticanus hill, located on the right bank of the Tiber River. Over the centuries, this small but very important enclave in the center of Rome has served as the spiritual and political center of the entire Catholic Church. Part 6 of 14. The city of Vatican, as we know it today, was established in the 20th century, specifically in 1920, when the Lateran Pacts were signed. These international agreements resolved the so-called Roman question related to the territorial status of the papal possessions and formalized their independence from the Italian state. This historic document ended a long-standing dispute that arose after Italy's unification and the papacy's desire to maintain its secular authority and territorial autonomy. For many centuries, the papal throne underwent significant transformations. Initially, the popes resided in various Roman basilicas, among which St. John Lateran stood out as the main church of Rome, where their residence was located. However, in the 10th century, Pope Innocent III decided to move to a safer location, the Apostolic Palace, situated in Vatican City. This move marked the beginning of the formation of a new center of papal authority, which over time came to play a key role in the spiritual and political life of all Europe. It was only in 1920 that Vatican City was officially established. According to ancient legends and traditions, the story of Joanna, who after adopting the name Joanna V, ascended to the heights of church power and occupied the papal throne for about 2 years, is shrouded in many mysteries and mystical details. According to these accounts, it was during a solemn procession from St. Peter's Basilica to St. John Lateran that something truly astonishing happened. At this event, at the moment when church officials and believers gathered in festive activity, Joanna VII unexpectedly gave birth to a child, openly revealing her true identity and exposing her deception, which she had carefully concealed until then. This dramatic moment, filled with shock and bewilderment, so stunned everyone present that church authorities, according to tradition, took urgent measures to prevent such an incident from happening again and undermining the authority of the Holy See. Despite its mystical nature, this legend was widely documented in medieval literary works, in manuscripts decorated with engravings, in paintings, and even in printed books, all of which testified to the reality of such a story. In any case, there is an opinion that this legend might have been more of a folk tradition or a legend created for educational or entertainment purposes rather than a historical fact supported by documents. Nevertheless, regardless of its authenticity, the story of Joanna VII became an important impetus for developing a special church ritual aimed at testing the masculinity of the elected pope. This ritual was conceived as a way to verify the strength of the new pontiff to prevent deception and treachery, similar to what happened with Joanna. As part of this church ritual, a special position was introduced, called the palpator of testicles or testiculus. According to tradition, this ceremony involved a specific test, which according to ancient texts was performed after inspecting the male genitalia of the newly elected church leader. It is said that the candidate for the papal throne would sit in a special chair known as the sedia stercoraria, a unique seat with a hole in its surface through which the presence of male genitalia was checked. In some versions of this myth, the palpator was a deacon performing the ritual to verify the appropriate sign, while in more dramatic stories, it was a young cardinal who might demonstrate greater resolve and courage during the ceremony. During this ritual, after the manual inspection, the famous phrase, duocebet pendentes, was uttered, meaning 2 signs, and the attendees responded with Deo gratias, meaning thank you. This response served as a signal that the candidate truly met the masculinity requirements and was ready to assume the responsibilities of the church leader. It should be noted that this ritual likely originated as an extreme measure driven by fear of a repeat of the story of Joan, which according to tradition could have been merely a farce or deception, serving as a kind of guarantee that the chosen individual genuinely possessed all the necessary qualities to fulfill his mission. Beyond the legend of Pope Joan and the myth of palpation, an ancient church tradition rooted deep in history has been preserved in the Vatican archives. The so-called conclave, or closed ceremony, which literally meant a process sealed with a key. Essentially, it was a secret and highly important procedure during which cardinals, gathered in complete tranquility and seclusion, immersed themselves in an atmosphere of total isolation, free from outside eyes and interference. The origins of this rite date back to the distant 10th century, when one of the most well-known events took place in the Italian city of Viterbo, a prolonged delay of more than 2 years in electing a new pope. Hidden deep within Vatican history are secrets that evoke both admiration and awe. One of the most mysterious and intriguing is the secret Vatican archive, which houses on its shelves over 1,000 years of vital documents, bearing witness to the fate of world history, religion, and politics. Located in the Apostolic Palace in the heart of Vatican City, this archive is one of the most secluded and heavily guarded places in the world, accessible only to selected researchers who have undergone strict screening. Its length exceeds 80 kilometers, and in its numerous repositories are stored documents that, according to rumors, could shed light on the most intimate secrets of the Church and the world at large. The historical records stored in this archive span over a millennium. Among them are trial protocols that played a significant role in the development of the Christian Church and world history. For example, this collection includes materials about the legendary trials of the Knights Templar, who in the 13th century were accused of heresy and harshly persecuted, as well as documents related to the trial of Galileo Galilei, who in the 16th century faced the Church's Inquisition due to his scientific discoveries. Equally important are papal bulls, such as the excommunication of Martin Luther in the 16th century, which marked the beginning of the Protestant Reformation. All these materials are unique testimonies of historical events, sometimes so intimate and rare that their value cannot be overstated. Today, the archive is called the Apostolic Archive of the Vatican. However, the term secret in its name does not imply the presence of forbidden or condemned information. Rather, it reflects its private, closed nature, since all documents belong personally to the Pope, the supreme leader of the Church, and are kept in his possession. Until the end of the 9th century, roughly until the 9th century AD, access to these records was completely restricted, and the archive was gradually opened to scholars and researchers, following strict rules. Today, only a select few are granted the opportunity to examine its contents, and even among them, not everyone can gain full access to the most secret materials. With its wealth of documents, the archive has given rise to numerous theories and speculations. One of the most popular is the belief that within its walls lies information about the end of the world. According to some sources, the archives contain details about the secrets of Fatima, which were revealed in the 20th century. These secrets are linked to predictions made by 3 shepherd children in Fatima, Portugal, in the 19th century, and are said to contain prophecies about potential catastrophes and global events that could influence humanity's fate. Some suggest that the Vatican possesses knowledge capable of predicting the apocalypse or other momentous events, and that this information is stored in highly classified documents, accessible only to a few initiates. Equally mysterious is the papal election ritual associated with the so-called conclave, a gathering of cardinals to elect a new head of the Church. This process is accompanied by a special, highly symbolic ritual that has been preserved for centuries. When the cardinals gather in Vatican City, they are isolated from the outside world and conduct secret ballots over several days or weeks. Their isolation culminates in the famous smoke ritual, where smoke emerges from the chimneys of the Sistine Chapel. When the cardinals reach a consensus and elect a new pope, thick white smoke rises from the chimney, signaling to the world that the process has concluded. This symbolic fire is the only way to inform the entire world of the voting outcome. If the voting continues, black smoke is emitted, indicating that no decision has been reached and the process is ongoing. This method, used since the 15th century, has become an integral part of church tradition. He creates an atmosphere of anticipation, excitement, and hope, for the white smoke is a sign that one of the most mysterious and simultaneously most perplexing secrets surrounding the Vatican archives is the story of the so-called chronovisor, a hypothetical time machine that, according to rumors, was created in the very heart of the Holy City in the 1940s. According to various accounts and legends, this enigmatic technology possessed the ability to record images of past events, allowing those with access to these archives to observe historical moments long gone into the past. Among such events is even the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, which some researchers believe was captured using this machine. Although no credible evidence has been provided or confirmed regarding the existence of the chronovisor, the very idea of its existence continues to live on among those interested in the secrets of the Vatican. In the corridors and halls of this smallest country in the world, rumors still circulate that the Vatican had the ability to manipulate the flow of time, altering the course of history or gaining exclusive access to past events. These assumptions generate numerous speculations and conspiracy theories, attracting particular interest from those who believe in the existence of hidden technologies and secret devices. Moreover, access to these mysterious archives is said to be granted only to a select few, privileged or fortunate enough to peer behind the veil of secrecy and see what is hidden from ordinary eyes. Inside the walls of the world's smallest country are stored not only documents related to history and religion, but also materials concerning such complex and dark rituals as exorcism, a rite of expelling evil spirits, which despite the progress of the 21st century, is still widely practiced in some religious institutions. The Vatican preserves and maintains a living, albeit rather grim, tradition of exorcisms, serving as a center for training priests responsible for performing these rituals. In these educational institutions, managed directly by the church hierarchy, a strict curriculum is taught, combining deep theological knowledge, liturgical practices, and basic medical understanding. During their training, future exorcists learn to recognize signs of possible demonic possession and are also prepared to collaborate with specialists in psychiatry and psychology. This is done to accurately distinguish situations of genuine possession from cases where individuals suffer from mental disorders such as schizophrenia or other psychoses. Such a differentiated approach is necessary to prevent the erroneous application of rituals to those who truly need medical help rather than spiritual intervention. Training is conducted in a closed manner and is intended for a very limited number of priests who, upon completing the course, receive the official status of exorcists of the Vatican. In practice, however, exorcism rituals continue to be used not only within the Vatican. More than 250 of its clergy perform thousands of such ceremonies around the world. Although most of these ceremonies take place in specially designated churches and chapels inside the Vatican walls, exorcism practices are spreading beyond its borders, covering different parts of the world where there are interested or in-need individuals. This topic, which seems like something taken from horror movies or science fiction novels, is a real part of church life and remains one of the most mysterious and controversial traditions associated with this ancient institution. Ultimately, the question arises, what do you think about the practice of exorcism? Are there people among your acquaintances whom, in your opinion, should undergo such a ritual? What has impressed you the most about what you have learned about the Vatican? Don't rush. Pause the video and share your thoughts in the comments. Remember, your participation is the best way to support our efforts to explore and study such amazing and mysterious places as the Vatican. Thank you for your attention and interest. The Vatican's past has been shrouded in many dark chapters, reflecting scandals that have left a noticeable mark on its history and sometimes even seriously undermine trust in this unique state in the head of the Catholic Church. Among these episodes, a special place is occupied by its alleged connections with various criminal organizations, as well as secret societies, about which legends and rumors circulate among the people. Specifically, there have been reports of cooperation with the mafia and even with mysterious groups known as the Illuminati, which has spawned numerous conspiracy theories and suspicions of hidden control over world events. One of the most well-known and controversial cases involved its connection with the so-called Ambrosian Mafia, a network of criminal groups and bankers that was active in Europe during the 1970s and, according to rumors, maintained close contacts with certain structures within the Vatican. This banking clan, known as the Ambrosiana, was based in Italy and was linked to various illegal operations, including money laundering and tax evasion. The connection to this criminal community, it is assumed, went through the religious institution known as the Institute for Religious Works, more popularly called the Vatican Bank. It was through its finances that large sums of money flowed, ultimately leading to major investigations and scandals, especially in 1982, when a thorough investigation uncovered widespread financial fraud that resulted in the disappearance of billions of dollars. This case involves several high-ranking figures within the Vatican, which sparked a wave of rumors and speculation. Among them was the figure of Pope John Paul I, who died under mysterious circumstances shortly after ascending to the throne, leading to numerous conspiracy theories. Some claim that his death might have been linked to attempts to uncover financial irregularities or internal power struggles within the higher echelons of the Church. These hypotheses were supported by rumors of close ties to the mafia, secret groups, and even the Illuminati, influencing the Vatican's internal affairs. In these stories, there is often an idea of a hidden force controlling world events from behind the scenes, with the Vatican frequently depicted as one of the key centers of such shadowy structures. Beyond alleged connections to the mafia, various conspiracy theories also accuse the Vatican of links to the Illuminati, a group that, according to these myths, is a secret power controlling the economy, politics, and public opinion. These versions suggest that a clandestine organization exists at the heart of the church and around it, influencing the fates of nations and global processes. Although no direct evidence of these connections has ever been provided, rumors and speculations about the church's role in global conspiracies continue to persist, especially in the context of control over information and secrets stored in the Vatican archives. Today, the inner world of this state remains a mystery to millions, surrounded by many little-known but quite real aspects. For example, only about 800 people live permanently in the Vatican, most of whom are priests, service staff, and administrative workers. This is a very small population, and despite its importance, it remains closed off to outsiders. Inside this tiny state, almost all life is male and celibate, due to church traditions and rules. There are practically no family households in the Vatican, with the exception of a few groups such as Swiss Guards and a very limited number of employees whose duties are related to security and protection. One of the most surprising features of this country is that the Pope does not receive an official salary. His expenses are covered by the Holy See, but he is not formally considered an employee and has no regular income. Although at first glance it may seem that someone holding a high spiritual and administrative position in the Vatican is granted almost unlimited freedom, this is a fundamentally incorrect perception. In reality, the life of the head of the Holy See is surrounded by a number of strict rules, restrictions, and established frameworks that define his role, duties, and even personal freedoms. These limitations serve to maintain order, spiritual discipline, and adherence to the traditions that exist at the heart of the Catholic Church. Despite having access to vast material wealth, properties around the world, and the highest level of security, the Pope's financial affairs and expenses do not belong to him personally. In fact, his resources and expenditures are entirely covered by the Holy See, not by his private estate. The individual known as the Vicar of Christ lives in a magnificent apostolic palace, which in terms of size and luxury surpasses most ordinary palaces. However, despite all this splendor, he is not permitted to have a family or enjoy personal wealth, as his life is fully dedicated to serving the Church and observing the vow of celibacy. All that he possesses are assets and resources owned by the Vatican, not by him personally. Moreover, the Pope does not have absolute control over the Vatican's financial system. Financial assets and economic policies are managed by higher church authorities and the Holy See as a whole. He has the opportunity to travel around the world and enjoy certain privileges granted within the framework of church traditions. However, he cannot live outside the Vatican permanently, as his role requires a constant commitment to service within this unique city-state. His life is deeply imbued with religious devotion and administrative responsibility, which demands personal sacrifices and the renunciation of many earthly privileges, such as family life or personal wealth. When it comes to personal achievements and status, a natural question arises. Is it possible to visit the Vatican, see its sacred sites, and immerse oneself in the atmosphere of this unique city-state? That is why we decided to explore this question in detail and share the results of our research. The most accessible and straightforward way to visit the Vatican is to see its famous St. Peter's Basilica or the Vatican Museums. These sites are among the most well-known and visited by tourists from around the world. Entry to St. Peter's Basilica is generally free, and anyone who wishes can go inside to admire its grandeur and spiritual atmosphere. However, if you want to ascend to the Basilica's dome, a small fee is required, which allows visitors to enjoy stunning views of the city and its surroundings. As for the Vatican Museums, which house some of the most valuable and renowned art collections in the world, admission is also paid. It is recommended to purchase tickets in advance to avoid queues, especially during the high tourist season when visitor numbers increase significantly. Inside the museums, you can see unique works of art such as statues, paintings, sculptures, and historical artifacts, as well as the famous Sistine Chapel, decorated with Michelangelo's frescoes. These masterpieces attract millions of tourists eager to experience the rich cultural heritage. If you are interested in more exclusive and restricted areas of the Vatican, such as the catacombs located beneath the Basilica or the Tomb of St. Peter, access is only possible with prior booking and along designated routes. To do this, you need to reserve a tour through the official Vatican website or contact the relevant services, which often involves a limited number of participants and a more immersive, intimate experience. Such tours allow for a deeper understanding of the history and sacred significance of these places, as well as the opportunity to feel the special atmosphere that prevails within the ancient corridors and tombs. Additionally, there are even more restricted and exclusive routes that grant access to unique sites such as the Apostolic Library, which houses priceless manuscripts. You can also visit the heart of the Vatican during special events held within its walls on certain days and times, such as Christmas Mass or audiences conducted by the Pope. These events are characterized by their uniqueness and special atmosphere, allowing visitors to immerse themselves in the spiritual life of this holy city and enjoy a more limited and memorable access to its inner courtyards and halls. Unlike mass tourist routes, such events offer the chance to experience a special mood and connect with the historical tradition that has linked millions of people to the light of faith and spiritual heritage for centuries. Moreover, the Vatican is famous for its picturesque gardens, which can also be visited by prior arrangement. These green oases are a true find for those who dream of solitude and wish to enjoy the peaceful atmosphere within this small state. Visiting the gardens, organized by prior appointment with specialist Red Armisha, provides a unique opportunity to stroll along shaded alleys lined with ancient plants and flowers, and to feel the harmony that reigns in these quiet corners. This experience allows not only to escape the hustle and bustle of tourist crowds, but also to feel inner harmony and tranquility, which are so rarely encountered in the modern world. We hope that your journey through the Vatican has been no less fascinating and enlightening than ours. We have tried to convey its beauty and significance, reflecting on the amount of effort and work involved in creating the videos and materials that allow you to experience the atmosphere of this amazing place without leaving home. However, if you liked what you saw and heard, and you haven't done so before, don't delay your decision. Make a choice now to continue gaining new impressions and knowledge by activating the notification bell, which will inform you about the release of new exciting videos we prepare each week. This video is one of those unique materials that allows you to get acquainted with one of the most mysterious and breathtaking corners of the planet, the Vatican. Don't miss the opportunity to discover its secrets and wonders, as each new journey into these sacred spaces brings fresh discoveries and inspiration. May it become a source of joy and amazement for you, and we look forward to continuing to share our knowledge and impressions of the great treasures of this world.